lie. Did you know that? She didn't lie. I didn't meet Mary till an hour ago. But there's going to be two things that you're going to like about this session. But then you got to do something for me. First one is, guess how many PowerPoint slides we're going to have? 8. Okay? Few. And they're complimentary. Second thing is, this is going to be fun because you're going to get up and you're going to move around. But in relationship to that, to those of you who are sitting next to each other, I need each of you to find another person, which means get up out of your chair, walk over and say, hello, my name is Mike Ryan. I've worked for my family, and I've been a project manager for way too long. So take about 2 minutes, and just, if you don't have someone near you, find someone that you can just talk to.
Mary, you need to find a partner. Yeah. That's my husband. Oh, I see. Partners?
Yes, I think so. But just make sure you get people talking. This will be great. Okay, all right. Tell you what, if I can get you to sit back down for a minute, everybody. Oh, you're not done. You're going to get to talk to each other. That's the best part of this. So have a seat. You're not done. Remember your partner, okay? Your partner is going to be the main reason for today's fun. No kidding. Well, here, you see, you didn't know it. You're going to be an actress today.
Is there somebody that doesn't have a partner? Well, I tried to. She just came in. Oh, you just came in?
Okay, so I have a really, really difficult question for you. Have you ever improvised on one of your projects?
Duh.
I got a duh. Boy, I'm offended by a kind, thoughtful Patriots fan would say something like that to a delicate, loving, 20 years of losses Bills fan. Yep. Man, it's a tough crowd. We improvise all the time, right? Okay, so the follow-up question is, how many of you have had a class in improvisation? Kind of. I had coffee with Jane once, right? The answer is nobody, right? Nobody. I haven't seen many college curriculums where they have a class in improvisation. And it's probably one of the most important things we do. And I would also ask you this, and my wife will absolutely confirm this. Most of the really bad decisions that I've made have been in what sort of situation? Where I had lots of time to think and plan? No. Or where I improvise. Like the ultimate guys, how does the dress look, honey? Well, when I first got married, it was kind of like, what was the show? To Tell the Truth, you know? About a year into that didn't work. I'm explaining that to my son now. You know, that's not the way you answer the question. The point is, improvisation is something we do all the time. You may be great at it, you may be terrible at it. Today we're actually going to, with your partner, we're going to improvise a little bit. Does that make sense? So I have Mary, Brendan, and Siva are here, and they have been kind enough to be assistants today. I asked them if they volunteered. So what they're going to do is we're going to walk through a couple of improvisational situations. They're really improvisational games is what they are. But you'll see the application real quick, and we'll talk about them. So the first one we'll talk about is a game called Yes and. Not Bill Brady. Mr. Belichick, what's the quickest way? If you ask me a question, what's the quickest way for me to shut you down? Give me a great idea for the Patriots.
Fire you.
Fire who?
What's his name? I forgot. Tom Brady.
Fire
yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, fire Tom Brady.
But he's won 6 Super Bowls.
So,
But how can I stop him and shut him down right away? There's 2 ways. 2 words will stop him in cold.
yes, and.
But and no. Right? Somebody comes to me with a great idea and says, I've got a great idea. But what about this? Anybody in here doing Agile? What's Agile based on? Collaboration. Our projects are based on collaboration. Do but and no tend to help collaboration? No. Guess what does, Mr. Bill Belichick, guess what does foster collaboration?
Yes, and.
Yes, and. It's a rather unique thought. So what yes, and is a pretty simple idea that whatever the person proposes to you, you respond with a yes, and. Okay? Mr. Roth. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Brandon and Mary are going to go through a yes, and scenario. Now here's the great thing. Brandon's going to start it, or we'll have Mary start it. Brandon has no idea what Mary's going to say. And not only does Mary doesn't know what she's going to say. You know why? Guess who's giving me the topic? You are. Give me a topic that Mary and Brandon are going to talk about. Any topic.
Restaurant.
I'm holding you aside for a second. Somebody else.
Dogs versus cats.
Dogs versus cats. So Mary, you and Brandon are going to talk about dogs versus cats with a little yes and mixed in.
Hi, Brandon. You look to me like a cat person.
Yes, and I love cats because they're very friendly and they're always affectionate and attentive.
And yes, it seems people that have cats are extra affectionate and often very, I think, meticulous in everything that they do.
Yes, and they bring so much joy and happiness into my life, not only to that, into my computer screen because it's my screen.
Yes,
You okay, give them a hand. You get the idea? Right? So think about it. What do we often say as project managers? No. And, but, right? And even if, yes, Brandon, your idea is absolutely crazy, but let's take a look at it or something like that, right? So now here's what you get to do. You, with your partner, get to do a little bit of yes and. But now we get to turn the tables. I'm going to let Brandon pick the topic. So find your partner. Okay, so on the count of 3, Brandon is going to throw out an absolutely, completely random topic. From there, you're going to pick it up and run with a yes and.
Okay, Brandon.
there's one person that needs a partner.
I need a partner. Am I the odd man out?
Siva, can you jump in with him? Okay, so count of 3, Brandon's tossing out a topic, you run with it. 1, 2, 3. Brandon.
Mountains or ocean?
Mountains or ocean? Go. Good, I'm ready. How are you?
Ping pong.
No. This is a different interpersonal games. I did that one about 3 years ago or 2 years ago. The ball game,
I
right?
was at the university meeting when you did it.
Yeah. I've done that here too, a long time ago.
That's a lasting impression.
Yeah, good. Brandon, we have till 10:20, right?
I think so. Let me double check.
Good?
Are you just your only one, or are you doing another one too?
No. I did one. I didn't do one last. I think it was. I did 3 years, 2 or 3 years in a row. Like, I think it was 12, 13, 14. I don't remember, but
Right.
I did another one. It's called the ball game.
Okay.
You got people pitching balls. That's kind of fun. But always, when I do these, I always want them to be interactive because if I sit here and flip a PowerPoint, people don't care.
So I teach the PMP prep class for.
do you?
Yeah. So I do the same thing. I try to get it interactive because it's so much better than sitting up here with the PowerPoint.
Flipping the slides.
Flipping. It drags out. Yeah, I try to do the same thing. Break them up in groups, get them interactive.
Yeah.
It makes it so much better.
Yeah, well, two things. People are interesting and they'll talk, and then the hard thing here is always getting people to kind of focus back.
Back in.
Yeah. All right, order in the court. We good? Did we get our yeses? All right. We don't want to hear howevers. We want yes and. Okay, so do the Boy Scout thing. Do the Boy Scout. There you go. Bill Belichick's calling us back to order. All right, so have a seat. So what do you think? How'd that feel? It's hard. Why is it hard?
Because we are trained to find the problem and everything, and so
Is it possible that we are the problem? Could that be? It's yeah. But think about our jobs. Think about how many times we say no. Imagine if heaven forbid you raise your kid on yes and, right? I mean, they blow up the universe. But it's hard. We don't do it, right? Because why is that? Why don't we do it? What is it we're always looking for?
Control. And with yes and, we lose control. With but, no.
I would disagree. I would say with yes and, you're going to get more control.
I think you're looking for risk when you're butting. It's like anything that could possibly go wrong with it, to know it ahead of time.
But imagine this. Have you ever been on a project where you're the PM and you feel like there's not great communications? Am I the only one that's ever had that? I'm the only one, right? No. And the neat thing is, I love this term. I just heard it a couple months ago. Back channels. So there's all this stuff that's being said to your face, but there's all this back channel talk, right? Yeah. Imagine if you did yes and as much as you could. I think people would think about when you're in so let's say do UAT testing or SAT testing. What's going on when you do testing? Finding problems. And what starts happening? Is there a feedback loop? Absolutely, right. Now we got to fix it. Let's move it from a lower environment. Let's test it. Let's move it here. Da, da, da. You've got a lot of feedback there. Do you typically have that on a project? I don't have enough, I'll be honest with you. And I think yes, because I think sometimes people come or don't come to me, or maybe you, and say, he's going to tell me no, I'm not even bringing it up. There's too much risk. I worked at a place that shall remain nameless. But, well, I spent 35 years there and lost my sanity practically. But nonetheless, you know, it was always, as you worked in risk, guess what the joke was? And I'm going to offend somebody if you're in risk. Guess what risk was analogous with? Risk meant no. I used to say it. Because we need our risk partner's approval. You're not going to get it. Risk meant no. I don't think it's a good idea, but that was the way it was thought of there. So,
to encourage people not to identify risk on your project if the answer is going to be no when you identify a risk.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch.
I said I think it would discourage people from identifying risk on your project if they think if they identify a risk,
Sure.
that the answer is going to be no. Because I know sometimes
Right.
people
Well,
get how to identify risk.
Stop and think. Anybody in here doing agile stuff? If you are, right? What's one of the foundations of agile? There's 3 foundations. Begins with a T. Okay, I'll take inspection, adaptation, and the third one begins with a T and ends with a Y. You know what it is?
Technology.
Close, but not. Transparency. And I can tell you on agile projects, you don't have transparency, right? Because people don't, do you want to report a risk and try to defend it, or does anybody else? So I think a lot of that has to do with transparency, right?
But to me, it's more important to identify the risk and it turn into an issue than all of a sudden you have an issue and they go, why didn't you think about that and log that as a risk?
Yep.
How many people understand the difference between the risk and an issue? That is the biggest challenge they face as a project manager.
I'll tell you what, we can. I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to sidetrack this just for now. There's a couple more things we can talk later about that. We got the next exercise that these two are going to explain to you or show you is called start at the end. Okay, start at the end is a pretty simple exercise where the next sentence starts with the last letter of the previous sentence. Okay, so in the case here, Bob, those are great looking shoes. The next sentence begins with S, blah, 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 ends with O, begins with O, okay? So they're going to demonstrate this. You're going to learn a whole new skill set you didn't even know you had.
Me too.
So Mary and Brandon, go ahead.
Have you been to see the fall foliage change yet?
Every time I go,
Yeah.
I really
No, T.
T.
Okay, okay, restart. Okay, restart, and that's all right. Restarts are this is you know what? You're chuckling him. You wait. You just wait. This is like what your mom. Yeah, it's so your mom will get you on this one. So give me a topic, not a versus B, but give me a topic. Just throw it. Grilled cheese sandwiches. There's a good one. Grilled cheese sandwiches.
Do you like grilled cheese sandwiches?
H no.
Restart.
Savory. They are savory.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I do like them, but I like them with pepper jack cheese.
Even when the pepper jack cheese is really hot and spicy?
Yes. I like spicy.
Well, darn, I do too. You ought to have some a hot spicy dinner sometime.
Exactly.
All right, very good. Easy or hard? Hard?
You have to listen.
You have to, bang.
rather
As my mother used to say, Jesus, Joseph, Mary, of course you listen to me, Michael.
But rather than you thinking of how you're going to respond, kind of like almost immediately as soon as somebody starts talking, you have to wait till they finish. You have to think about what they've said, think about that last letter, and then try to come up, which is how it should listen to begin with, but we don't.
Well, let me ask you this. Who in here would say they're a good listener?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, there you go. All right, let me ask you an even more refining question, and this is only for the men. Who in here, as a husband, would have a wife that says, "Gee, honey, you're a great listener"? Oh, man, I want to meet your wife. I can't tell you in 30 years of marriage how many times I'm a bad listener, but you're right. It's listening, and listening takes work. Imagine that. So how great a listener do you think we are on a project? How great a listener do you think our project folks are?
Terrible.
When you think we aren't? I'm a bad listener.
Cut people off all the time, don't let them finish their thought. Think we know where they're going, see it jump in.
My
all
husband
the
has
time.
a preconceived idea of where it's going, so he answers you before he listens.
Yeah, I do that.
I do that.
Well,
Problems, I do that, so.
so guess what you get to do now?
Listen.
Listen. So find your partner again, and we're going to do the start at the end. And I get to choose the topic. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the topic is
I'm a moderator.
South Park.
Is there someone that doesn't have a partner?
Go. Talk about South Park.
Once you brave the traffic,
We're done.
No, just start again.
Start again.
New England Patriots.
He said X.
I tried to end one with a word that ended with
X, yeah.
X. What the hell will I start with an X?
Oh, I know a game called ABC, and somebody always try to end with X.
Whose line is it anyway?
Xylophones,
Yeah.
xylophones are a great instrument.
Tough. This one is tough. People are not time.
That's good. You, okay. Now, do you want that, or my son's an Eagle Scout. In scouting, they do this. You stick your fingers up. Everybody pays attention. You want the whistle? You want the fingers? Okay, but you got to promise to pay attention. That's a drawback. These sessions get a little out of hand because people have fun. And heck of a thing to do at training. So, tell me about start at the end.
Wow. It was a lot of fun because you could not make an assumption on what the person was going to say. You had to wait until the end and then think about your response.
Imagine
you're
that.
kind of forming, you're like, you want to have a dialogue and you're forming your response to continue the conversation, but then you realize you have to present your idea with, other than, oh, or eek.
Anybody lay a Z or a Y or an X on your partner?
Yeah. I gave her a V.
Doing good.
Well, it's just an expectation that there's going to be a banter, a back and forth, and so there's going to be equal participation in the conversation, which is balances the communication.
Yep.
I told her that when she was walking around that I think you could. I was thinking about doing this with my team and thinking they think I lost my mind, but I think that you could.
You've probably found your mind, but.
I think that you could do the premise of it, which is just force yourself to listen for that last letter, but not spend the time trying to craft the response that starts with that last letter, but just kind of use the first part and then go on with the conversation. I think that would be something I could do that would probably be really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually twisted these from what I saw. These are all experiential for me. So none of this is new, believe me. None of it's new. But you can use it. There's a guy, an acquaintance of mine, he does corporate training on things like listening and leadership, using these kind of exercises. Anybody else?
Is it just an exercise, or does anybody really try to do that?
Well, I think what it tells you is you're probably not a good listener, right? Because like you were saying, you've got an answer made up in your mind. When you're talking to someone else, are you thinking about how you're going to respond, or are you listening to what they're saying? I know for me, I'm thinking about how I'm going to respond. And I think that's probably predominant. I think it just teaches you to listen better.
I think teaching to listen better, but that's going to help you formulate better questions to probe further.
Yep.
Because like we were saying before, if you're already thinking about what you're going to say next, you're not fully anticipating what potential impacts, questions you could, add on to what you said.
What's interesting though is this is essentially a simulated conversation environment, not actual dialogue in the real world. But what's interesting is because of the simulated environment, you feel like you have to formulate your response with a narrower window of silence to formulate your response. But in the real world, when you're actually in a conversation, especially in a work environment, if you jump to an answer too fast, people perceive you as not really thinking about it. So in here it feels like a higher pressure situation to answer right away, but in reality, most people do take some time to formulate an answer if they're in a discussion about a problem in the real world. So it's kind of a weird juxtaposition to do the exercise here and feel the rush, where in real life, nobody really jumps the gun quite that fast.
Yes and no, I've seen that happening in a lot of conversations where people prejudge, as Mike said, someone is already formulating something in their mind without listening to the full conversation, and they immediately jump. You are right, some people think and do, some people don't think and do. And I've seen that a lot. I'm like, oh, wait a second, oh, okay, you are telling me this. Oh, okay, I'm not correct.
I think my point though is that you don't have to respond immediately when somebody
Correct.
says something, but especially in here or in a simulated environment, you feel like you have to right away.
Yes, and let me think about it, right? Wouldn't that be a terrible answer?
I was just going to say, I think the way our brains work, we don't mean to be bad listeners, but the moment someone has a topic, your brain searches for the relatability. So like he said smoothie and Smoothie King, and I immediately thought tropical smoothie, but I didn't listen to see that he was not going back to Smoothie King. So I think that's what our brain does. We quickly look for where we relate and we start to formulate a scenario.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Squirrel? Yeah. All right, got a couple more. Actually, now we're going to get to some of the fun stuff. The next one is called Scandal. Okay, Scandal is a kind of a fun exercise or game because there's a lot of BS involved, really, but there's also some reasoning with it. You have two people, and if Brandon doesn't mind, you can be the boss and I'll be the employee.
So you want to be the reflector?
Yep. Brandon is going to basically kind of accuse me of something that's really bad. Okay? I've got to try to justify it however I can. All right? I have no idea what he's going to accuse me of. I have no idea how bad it is, and I have no idea how I'm going to reply. Okay? So with that, Brandon will be the boss, I'm the employee.
Hey Mike, thanks for taking a minute to sit and talk with me. I really appreciate it.
Well,
I wanted to call you in to let you know that we really appreciate you, all the extra work and time you put into the company. We really appreciate all that time. I did notice that some of our products were missing from the inventory, and it's been brought to my attention that some of these materials were in your car. Do you know what's happening with that?
Oh yeah, I do. Thanks for bringing it up. There was a Toys for Tots event up in Huntersville, and the president of the company said we needed to get those toys up there just as quick as we possibly could. I went to get the company truck, but it wasn't available. So instead I put it in my car, drove it up to Toys for Tots. They made a whole pile of money, and the boss was so happy. He even said out on the internet that this is one of the best fundraisers we've ever done as ABC Corporation.
Okay. Do you also know that there's actual procedures that we sign out the products and we keep inventory of it? Also, we track the car.
I do, and you know what? They were locked up, and I called the boss, the president. I said, hey, what about signing out the log? And he said, to heck with that. Don't worry about it. This is too important. We're going to just go ahead and do it. That's Scandal. Okay? Well, oh yeah, it's so. I talked to Brandon. He was sitting here thinking, man, this guy earlier today full of bull, and which I totally am. But you know, he said he's going to go back and check it, right? But what do I have to do as he brings these up? What am I trying to do? Overcome an objection, right? I mean, he's basically saying you're unethical. You stole. You know, I didn't kill anybody. I don't think. And I've got to try on my feet to justify it. Does that make sense? So this is another thinking on your feet. I had no idea what he was going to talk about. So guess what you get to do now? One person's the boss, one person's the employee, and the boss will come up with the scandal. So you ready? This is fun. Oh, believe me, it's fun. Believe me. The fun's just beginning. We got another one or two if we can get to it. You ready? So find your partner. Find your partner.
Some people don't flip where they're that, yeah.
They should. No, not yet.
We got some doozies over here.
Good.
We got some doozies.
I tell you, signs up. What's that? They just don't. No, don't. They asked. All right. So who had the biggest lie? Let's hear it.
So I was the boss and he was the employee, and I accused him of coming in over the weekend with an unidentified woman. So he quickly says, "Oh, I have an answer. That was my wife." I said, "There's one problem. Your wife came yesterday to bring you cookies for your broken arm." And I told her that I'm sorry I missed her over the weekend. She looked at me bewildered and said, "I was in Alaska. That wasn't me." So I said, "Explain that, Rich." And Rich said, "You are a woman. I have two wives."
Rich, I got two wives. Two wives. Oh, jeez, I haven't heard that one. So, would you keep the person? Would you fire him? Anybody? You keep him? Why? For his, you gonna move him to the creative department or something? Yeah. Put him in marketing. How about anybody else? I did hear a lot of laughing. Laughing is good.
So, in our scenario, Diane and I was the boss and she was the employee, and I accused her of having a subcontractor that was drinking and smoking on the job while working a forklift, and that on video she was drinking with them.
So how did? Cheers. Right?
She told me that they weren't drinking alcohol; it was actually iced tea. And I'm like, but.
And yes, and.
No, I'm like, but.
There were.
The other thing we need to keep in mind is that we have, safety guidelines, and to have on video that our employee is doing. I said we can actually see that the bottle has an alcoholic beverage label on it, but apparently you all put iced tea in it. She said, but we locked out all of the equipment before doing so, and we lit a candle.
For the orphans.
For one of the workers, because he's recently had a mother pass away. I personally found it creative that I would have moved them to the marketing department.
Yeah. She's got teenagers. It's always something they come up with.
And I was like, she was the boss and I was an employee, and she was accusing me of sleeping at my desk. And I was coming with different
hours every day.
So if you're the employee, was that easy? Is it easy?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Because it's a gift?
Project managers always blamed for many things. So you're often in that situation.
I get blamed.
The workplace gives you a lot of good examples as employees.
But it does.
And then, of course, you're always monitoring to see if you can get away with the standard PM response of, I've got all that information available and I'll get it to you, you know, can you sneak away or do you have something like that? I don't mean sneak away, but typically they're approaching us with things that we don't have personal knowledge of, so you either gotta truly make it up, which is never, I don't think ever a great idea, or you have to find a way to exit from the conversation with giving them the appearance of confidence that you're not missing something, and then go find out what you're missing. And that's something you kinda gotta learn as a PM, the standard phrases to do that.
Yeah. Anybody else?
A lot of time talking about this, and I'd be happy to get you all the information.
Kind of a fun game, isn't it? Okay, I think we got one or two more. Let's check the time. And I'm not sure who wants to do this one. This one is called Two Heads. This is kind of interesting. You may have seen it before. But Mary, will you stand here and talk? See if you want to do it, you and Brandon, or you want me to do it?
Brandon and I short.
Okay. So we've got 3 actors. Nope. Who's, okay.
I thought I was with Brandon on it.
Just flip. Why don't you flip? Yep. See if you're over there.
Okay.
Okay. We have 3 actors, but there are 2 people. Okay? So this is one person. These 2 gentlemen are one person. So what they are going to do is they are going to conduct a conversation, if that makes sense, with person 1 talking to person 2. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And you'll see how it goes. So what kind of a topic do we have? What do you want to talk about?
Me?
The lady behind you, either one. Pick a topic.
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes it is. Mary, kick it off.
What do you think of the latest hurricane? I think it's called Maria.
Yes, Maria was devastating.
And a pretty big and
Big hurricane.
Well, do you think it's gonna cause more damage than the earlier hurricanes?
yes, it's gonna cause lot of damage.
Category 5.
Do you think we're gonna have any more hurricanes in the rest of the season?
Yes.
The Weather Bureau is predicting.
Yeah.
Keep going?
A little more, go ahead. It's good, it's fun.
Have you ever been in a hurricane yourself, and what was it like?
No. No. Not yet.
Okay, get the idea? Now, guess who gets to do 2 heads?
You.
You. But there's only one problem. We're in pairs of 2s. So we're going to have to split off. So a group will have to split off, and one person will be one person, and then 2 people will be the second person. Okay? So stand up, find your partner, and then find somebody you can switch with. Nothing, just, you're basically breaking into groups of 3. You're breaking into groups of 3.
Should we stand or sit?
Okay. Yeah, let's take a topic. The topic is going to be cupcakes. Start with cupcakes. I'm just going to leave the door open. We'll wrap up and we'll be out of here in just a couple minutes. What's that?
So I wonder if there's an outlet up here.
Right here. There's one down there.
Okay.
We probably need to break. Okay. We're about 3 minutes left, so just signs up.
Todd Purveyor.
So what do you think? Easy? No, that's hard. Why is it hard?
And who's going to lead?
But you guys got better. I was listening to you near the end. You were about in sync. You were terrible at the beginning, but you were in sync.
There still is only one Carolina.
That's right. That made it easy.
Okay.
I mentioned these ladies that in the group that I was in, that I came, and I'm sorry, don't hold it against me, but I came from California, that's been where I was born and raised. And so the first place I went to was Washington State, and when I talked to people there, they always thought I was rude because I would talk over them. Because if you were into the conversation, you're always, because you were thinking the same kind of things, and you're excited, so you're talking the same kinds of things. So, and they didn't recognize, for me, that was considered rude by other people.
Imagine that. Imagine if you do that in the South. Yeah. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Mike. I was a little, have to admit, I was a little confused at what we were trying to demonstrate there.
Yep.
Is it that, as a manager, a project manager, that when you are talking to a group, that you sort of expect that they're going to kind of all gel together?
Nope. There's only one. There's really basically just one point for this. Was this fun?
Yeah.
Yes. What was the point? I think you came in a couple minutes. What was the point of this? Why did we do this? Was this just want to go out and we didn't want to go to the comedy club tonight or something? Why did I do this? Rich, you're never at a loss for words.
Because as project managers, you're always got to be thinking on your feet. You always got to be innovative, and it's great practice just to make sure you know your responses to rapid fire questions.
And imagine this. That's exactly the reason. Imagine this. Anybody in here ever taken public speaking class? How do you get better at anything? Practice, right? Practice. A friend of mine actually was here at the PMI. Who was here? I think it was the May chapter meeting, a gentleman named Paul Marks. Everybody go to that? Paul Marks is an improv teacher. I took an improv class for the first time in February. I was 60 years old in there. You know what the next oldest person in that room was? 37. Right? Now, I'm not going to go beyond Second City and all that, but what I realize is I stink at improvising. And I took a class, and believe it or not, Steve, I think better now. I listen better. I don't sit, once in a while to torture my kids, I do this at home. But, I don't sit home and do this. But it's basically to work on those improvisational skills. Because the other thing I would say, and my wife could confirm, the very worst decisions I have made have been decisions made on the spot. Right? So for me, it's simple. You work on your improv skills. All right, thanks for coming, staying. Anything else? They wanted me to tell you. Whoops, where'd it go? Hold on. The next sessions. Hold on. Here are the next sessions they want you to get to. And Rich is gonna be in here. When are you in here, Rich? At 1? 1. His will be good. So.